Am I the a-hole for stealing the spotlight at my cousin's baby shower? This story is from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. So the actual title is, Am I the a-hole for stealing my cousin's spotlight at her baby shower with my 2-month-old son and my engagement ring? First of all, I'm a huge fan of Charlotte. I watch all your videos.
Thanks for watching. I appreciate you so much.
Usually I'm not a part of drama, but this past weekend, drama found me. As it does. Or did I create it?
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Maybe I am.
That is why I'm here. I don't believe I did anything wrong here, but maybe I did. Please tell me if I was an a-hole or not, because I'm genuinely confused.
Hey, we are here for you.
This past Sunday, my sister Kylie, 40 female, and I, 25, carpooled 4 hours to a different state with my niece, Clara, 11 female, year-old daughter, and my 2-month-old son, little man.
Hi, little man. Hi, little man.
To attend our cousin Piper's, 33 female, baby shower. We got a text from Piper at the end of September telling us of her pregnancy and a little save the date invite for her shower. She informed us of an invite with more details would be in the mail ASAP. She is due in early January. Both me and Kylie were basically screaming in her living room with excitement and also disbelief that she could keep that hidden for so long. In mid-October, we received the invitation with additional details like it was a girly thing and not a co-shower. The same day we got the official invite, my boyfriend of 5 years proposed to me, and I said yes.
Well, congratulations.
I posted that on Facebook. Only my family and friends have Facebook, and I'm strict with it because I like privacy from strangers. Yeah, I know my post is ironic in this sense. Like, posting anonymously on Reddit is not like invading your privacy. I stand by that. We both asked Piper if kids were allowed because Clara was also excited, and I didn't want to separate from little man or my 3-year-old Tommy. She said they were, and she was excited to meet little man. As the date approaches, me and fiance discussed details, and eventually fiance informed me that he was going to take Tommy for me that day, and they were going to hang out with my brother-in-law, 40 male, and nephew, 14 male, and do some guy stuff. Which I later found out was them getting into various shenanigans, like throwing rocks at some soda cans and seeing if they could make it explode. Guy stuff. Now to the baby shower part. Everything was going well. Piper held little man for a while and asked a million questions about babies and took millions of pictures. During gifts, she periodically asked me questions about the products and I answered. After gifts, Piper's sister, 28 female, asked me questions about my engagement and the ring, and we giggled together. It wasn't until after all of this when we were leaving. Piper's friends, 3 girls and her mother-in-law, approached me while I was alone outside with my baby. They told me I was being selfish and rude for taking away Piper's attention on her day. Okay. When I asked how, they said I brought a baby to a baby shower, and that was basically the same thing as wearing white to a wedding that's not yours. I mean, not really. Not if the mother-to-be said it was okay. Then the mother-in-law spoke up and began commenting on my ring. She said it was highly inappropriate to show off my personal endeavors during someone else's big moment. Okay. I felt terrible. I apologized and went to sit in Kylie's car reflecting on the day. I remember Piper being happy and smiling, and her sister asked me about the ring. I didn't flaunt anything. So I chalked it up to me not understanding the social situation again as I normally do. I'm autistic. I don't think this is a case of you not understanding the social situation. I think it's a case of main character syndrome. After we left, I ended up crying because I was worried I did in fact ruin it for Piper. This is when Kylie told me I didn't, so I asked a couple more people in my family. Mom, granny, and my aunts say I was the a-hole. Sister, brother-in-law, fiance, and our friends say I'm not. So, fellow potatoes, am I the a-hole? I think in circumstances where, let's say it's like your friend's birthday and you find out that you're pregnant, I would say it would be in poor taste to announce the pregnancy at her birthday. Same thing goes for, if it's your friend's wedding day and you got engaged, I feel like it would be in poor taste to also announce that you were engaged at the wedding. I don't think there's anything wrong with showing up to a baby shower, already being engaged and everybody knowing about it, also bringing a baby to a baby shower. If the mother, I almost said bride, because clearly this happens in more circumstances than just weddings. I think that the mother-to-be said it was okay.
And that's all that matters.
People also need to consider the fact that it is a little difficult for new mothers to leave their babies behind. I think I would prefer a friend or family member show up and bring their baby than to not show up at all because they couldn't find a sitter or they didn't want to be apart from their child for longer than a few hours, you know? Okay, you answered a couple questions about your engagement to someone who asked. Life doesn't stop for other people when you have stuff going on. It's not like, you went around flaunting the ring, kind of rubbing it in people's faces. You answered a question, you kept it minimal, you were catching up with someone. It would have been weird for you to kind of refuse to talk about it, and expecting people to not talk about things that are going on in their lives because it's someone else's day is weird. Not the a-hole. Tell Piper that her friends and her mother-in-law ambushed you with personal attacks and ask if they were speaking for her. If she was upset, which I doubt, apologize. When she says she has no idea this was happening and apologizes to you for their behavior, tell her that she has nothing to be sorry for and you really enjoyed the day and spending that time with her. Let her handle these people. They're her problem, not yours. I don't really know what happened. We don't know. It could be Piper that went and told these people that she was kind of upset at the situation, or they did this of their own accord. But I find it weird that she told you that she was okay with you bringing your baby, and now all of a sudden there's all these people that have a problem with it. Either she told them that she has a problem with it, or they acted of their own accord. I would actually argue that they are ruining her special day by bringing all this negative energy to it. So newly engaged people should not wear their ring to baby showers or skip them. For F's sakes, this culture of no one else should have anything big or exciting happen to them because someone else is having a baby or getting married is insane. No, I totally agree with that. And before anyone shares good news, they need to make sure no one else has good news before they live their life. Yeah, it's just weird, the expectations around it, life doesn't stop for other people just because you have things going on and you want to be celebrated. Or I don't know who's the issue here, whether it's the friends and the mother-in-law or if it's Piper. But we do have an update.
Yes! 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 Yes!
OP updated a few days later and said, after plenty of you telling me I should just talk to Piper, well, I gave her a call. I apologized for stealing her spotlight and I was in no way trying to do that. She didn't know what I was talking about. Good. So then the mother-in-law and her friends are just mean girl, drama-obsessed people. If the mother-to-be didn't have an issue with it, then why do you?
This isn't about you.
I then explained what her mother-in-law said and some of her friends, and the phone was silent for a moment. I was getting nervous with the silence, so I said, hello, again. That's when I heard her say that she was there, but she was grabbing her husband, so I could tell him what I just said to her also. After stating it again, I heard him audibly gasp. It turns out neither of them think I stole the spotlight at all. That's everybody's spot on. It seemed like she appreciated the fact that you brought your baby. She was taking a million pictures with the baby, asking you all these questions. I'm sure she has questions. She's about to give birth. Her actions are not indicative of someone who is upset that you are
Stealing the spotlight.
I didn't know this, but one of the friends that confronted me was also newly engaged and 2 months pregnant. So her saying something to me was shocking and confusing to Piper. Okay, so she was newly engaged, probably had her ring on, was also probably pregnant, and yet it's only a problem when you do it? She said she knew her mother-in-law would pull something, but she definitely did not expect it to be this. She figured she would have sabotaged the pastries or something like that. After our call, she contacted all of them and demanded answers why. Mother-in-law doesn't believe she was in the wrong and still thinks I was trying to flaunt my accomplishments around. To which Piper's husband told her I wasn't, and she should have come to Piper or himself if she thought there was a real issue. That's all I heard of the situation. All the friends apologized and admitted they didn't actually think I stole any spotlight. Apparently, mother-in-law kept making comments to them about how I always start drama and steal people's spotlight to cause drama, since she knew who I was, but the friends didn't. Yeah, you got a mother-in-law problem. In a resolution, it was just a mother-in-law issue and I was an unsuspecting casualty. I also let her read this post in the comments and both of us agree that anyone saying people should just take their engagement ring off for any reason in regard to an event is ridiculous and entitled. To clarify some things, my engagement was well known to my entire family and friends. Her friends didn't know because I don't have a habit of hunting everyone down on the web to tell my news. I mean, fair enough, that would be weird. I'm planning another trip to her state soon as she asked if we could meet for brunch and to pack her hospital bag. Overall, I'm very excited for her and wish her a safe delivery and her health remains good. Since my last post, my bestie, who's basically a sister, kept handing me a soda bottle that wasn't mine. It took me way too long to realize it said I'm pregnant on the side of it. Oh, fun! Oh, fun, fun, fun!
Fun, 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 fun!
So I'm now excited for both of them and can't wait to meet their babies when they are ready for visitors, of course. I mean, I'm really glad that those things were cleared up. Like, that's definitely an awful miscommunication to have. It doesn't surprise me that it wasn't a big deal, because it's not. But let this be a lesson. Just because you've got exciting things going on in your life, like a wedding, baby shower, pregnancy, whatever, life doesn't stop for other people. And expecting it to is not only entitled, it's very selfish. Congratulations on your engagement, OP. You are not the a-hole. We got some more messy Am I the A-hole posts. Don't go anywhere. Am I the a-hole for taking back my tip after the waitress humiliated me in front of everyone? Ooh. Okay. All right. This occurred a few nights ago, and I just can't believe it happened the way it did. My partner, 29 female, and I, 32 male, dined out at this Italian restaurant we've been to several times. It's not highly sophisticated, but pleasant enough that you get to sit down, order wine, and have a relaxed evening. Our server, let's call her Samantha, was kind of phased throughout. She lost my drink twice, served the wrong starter, and vanished for what seems like an eternity when it arrived time to order dessert. It wasn't the end of the world. I've worked customer service myself, and I get that hectic nights go wild. However, the service was really poor. When the check came, I paid and left a 10% cash tip. Not excessive, but not nothing either. I thought it was reasonable given the circumstances. We were standing up to leave when Samantha came over, took the cash, and said,
Seriously? That's it?
You don't get paid at all.
I ain't gonna lie, Samantha should be happy she got a tip at all. Tips are not mandatory, especially when the service sucks. She said it audibly. Oh, absolutely not. A few people at some nearby tables turned around and stared. Not her calling you cheap in front of everybody. I was taken aback. I didn't even know what to say first. Then she added,
You know, servers can't pay their rent because of people like you. If you can't tip properly, don't dine out.
I'm gonna stop Samantha there. It's not good to go out to a restaurant if you can't afford to tip, right? It's probably a good idea to leave at least something. I know that I try at the very least, if the service is good, to tip 20% if I can, but it is also highly dependent on how good the service was. If service was like incredible, I even tip better than that. If service was not so good, I won't like not give a tip, but it won't be as high as if the service was incredible. It's a meritocracy. It's a job where when you do a really, really good job, you get rewarded for it, but kind of vice versa, right? If you do a really terrible job and you kind of ruin the experience, you can't really blame someone for not tipping well. The restaurant became totally silent, like sitcom silence. My girlfriend was wincing. I don't think her manager would be okay with that. I think maybe she was just having a bad night. Maybe you weren't the first table to not tip her.
She can't take a hint, can she?
But again, that's not really your fault. It's one thing if a customer is being an absolute Karen, making your job really difficult and then they don't tip. It's a completely other thing if you as a server are not doing your job properly and then you don't get a tip. I remained calm and said, okay, sorry you feel that way, and started to leave. Then, no kidding, she muttered,
Whatever, cheapskates.
but loudly enough that it was not only for us. So I went back over, walked over to the table, took the tip, and left without another word. Honestly, it was petty. What you did was a little petty, but I would argue it's a lot better than telling her manager, who I guarantee would not be okay with what she did. Like, that is a fireable offense. You would lose your job in most establishments if you complain to a customer about not leaving you a big enough tip. My girlfriend later informed me I did fine with it, but one of my friends feels like I overstepped by insisting on getting the tip back, that no matter what, you just leave it and move on. What he did was a little petty. This server is acting like, he just like dined and dashed or walked out without giving her anything. I think that he did a lot more than he could have in that situation. I feel like to be scolded and humiliated on account of a 10% tip that I actually did leave is way out of bounds. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for retrieving the tip after she yelled at us in front of everyone in the restaurant? I mean, like I said, little petty, but were you wrong? I don't think so. It's kind of like around and find out, you know what I mean? If you were unhappy with the 10% tip, that kind of resulted in you humiliating a customer. I feel like you don't really deserve a tip to begin with. Not the a-hole she expected, then demanded a good tip for a crappy job. You were nice enough to leave her something, but she wanted to be ungrateful. Correct. That is exactly what happened. Quite frankly, I feel like you didn't have to leave a tip at all, but you did. And she had to embarrass you because it wasn't the amount that she thought she deserved. I'm curious to know if she was aware how bad of a job she did as well. The whole point of a tip is to be an incentive for the server to do good work. Tipping at a higher rate for reasons is the opposite of an incentive. It leads to entitlement, and it's why bad wait staff stick around to ruin an otherwise good business. OP definitely would do the owner a favor by yelping the restaurant. You can see this parallel in a million different things. Okay, let's say for me, let's say I let things start to slip on YouTube. I do a really bad job. I'm not posting enough. I'm kind of out of it in videos. Like, people stop watching at a certain point and they're just bored with me. I can't really be angry about that, right? Because it's at the end of the day, it's kind of my problem and it's sort of up to me. Similarly, let's say you have a job that has bonuses based on performance. If you're constantly getting in trouble at work, you keep making big mistakes where essentially costing the company money, they have to train you all the time. Can you really be confused when you don't get a bonus based on performance? You can't. It is an incentive to do well. And normally it works, right? Incentive is a powerful, powerful motivator. And that's what a tip is. It's incentive to do a good job and give a really wonderful experience and go above and beyond. I can think of so many occasions where I'd be out dining and let's say I dropped something on my shirt and I had a stain on my shirt. The waiter will literally go and get me a Tide pen so that I can clean up my shirt. There's so many instances like that where a waiter will go above and beyond to really, just be thoughtful and make the experience nice for you. And the bare minimum, no bueno. So, are you the a-hole for taking back a tip after the waitress humiliated you in front of everyone? I'm gonna go with no. Excuse me. Am I the a-hole for, quote,
acting like a maid
at my sister's house after she gave birth? This is also from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. My sister, 39 female, just had twins 2 weeks ago via C-section. If you've ever been around someone recovering from a C-section, you know it's basically a major abdominal surgery. She's exhausted, sore, still bleeding, and trying to figure out life with 2 newborns. Ugh, twins too. Honestly, I like the idea of twins because it's just it's a one and done sort of situation. But if you thought one baby crying was hard. Imagine them both crying at once. 2 of them, 2 loud sirens in your hands. Oh my goodness. And I bet that twins, when they hear their twin crying, will start crying. Ugh. Rough. It do be rough out there for twin moms. Her husband, 32 male, has been less than helpful. Ooh. Side eye, look up and down. He keeps telling her that since his job is too hard and busy, she needs to handle everything at home. Cleaning, laundry, cooking, and of course, taking care of 2 babies. Oh, absolutely not. Nope. This is not a partnership. If he can't be around to help, then he better hire someone to help. She called me crying one night because she was so overwhelmed. I went over the next day. Now, I didn't go to hold the babies or play fun aunt. I know my sister. She cannot stand clutter or mess, and her house was stressing her out on top of everything else. So I cleaned, organized, folded laundry, loaded the dishwasher, wiped down counters, vacuumed, and even prepped a couple of meals for her. I told her not to worry about lifting a finger. That's amazing. Good on you. She cried again, this time from gratitude. She kept saying how much it helped her mental health just to have a clean space while she heals. Here's the problem. Her husband came home and was livid. Like, no thank you for doing what he should have been doing. He wasn't mad at me. He was mad at her.
Sounds like you've got more than a few screws loose.
He accused her of making him look bad because I came over and did everything he thinks she should be doing. I beg your finest pardon. No, that's what he should be doing. He literally said, she's the mom, not you. You're just acting like a maid. Okay, no. No. For the record, my sister didn't even ask me to do all that. I did it because I could see she needed help. Postpartum, you're recovering from surgery. You're so overwhelmed. You're like a really terrible, vulnerable state. It could be that he needed to work and he didn't have time to help. If that's the case, then y'all needed some support. At the very least, he should have contacted someone in his family or someone in your family. He should have been the one to ask for help if he felt overwhelmed. Not,
Oh, she needs to do it because she's the mother.
that is, oh my goodness. No, I don't want to say divorce, but like, she defended me, told him she's still healing, and reminded him that doctors told her not to lift heavy things or overexert herself yet. She doesn't even need to say that. Honestly, it should be like, duh. He brushed it off and doubled down that she should suck it up because everyone else manages. I would argue like he should also suck it up then. Now there's tension in their house. My sister keeps thanking me, but her husband's icy with her and making snide comments like,
Don't worry, your maid will handle it.
I'm gonna knock you on your ass.
I feel awful because the last thing I want to do is make things worse for her. Dude, we like don't like your sister's husband, right? Like we're like not a fan because like I'm not like this is really messed up. And normally I'm not very like
Divorce.
but like, dude, this is awful. It is one thing to be neglectful and like not be able to help out, like weaponized incompetence type thing. It is an entirely different thing to expect her to do everything when she's postpartum, recovering from surgery, has twins, which is arguably the hardest thing that you could like literally they both cry at the same time. Oh my God. This is not a partnership. Horrible place to be. I hope your sister leaves that idiot of a husband. That's sad to hear the complete lack of support. Yeah. He should have been thanking you on his knees, like begging you to come back. Like, how is that something that she gets in trouble for? I fail to understand. It does make him look bad because he should have provided that support or helped her get that support. This is like terrible. This is awful. He is wrong. Not everybody else just manages. Literally, like, isn't it a thing for like parents to like come by at the beginning to help out or like some sort of support there when the baby's first born? And also you're sleep deprived too. So like, holy crap. She might as well be a single mother. Honestly, I feel like she would be better off because she wouldn't have a husband that's just treating her terribly. Many people have a strong support system. Many people have husbands who help them. Many people have sisters who help them. And those who don't have that do struggle. I work with new mothers and can tell you they all need and deserve help, especially if they've had major abdominal surgery in addition to giving birth. Yeah, it is like an absolutely normal thing. And granted, it's a privilege to have, you know, a support system that's willing to help. I just genuinely feel at the very least you need a partner you take turns. It's not like
Okay, no, this is your job now.
like, no. Okay, so we do have an update. Thanks for all the comments on my original post. A few days have passed and things have escalated quickly. The next day after I posted, I packed up my sister and the twins and moved them into my house. She's now staying in the master bedroom so she has space, privacy, and an ensuite, and I moved into my guest room. Oh, you're a good sister. Now about her husband. He's a doctor.
What?
Shut the up. How are you not embarrassed? I mean, it makes sense that he's really busy, but does he just not, The fact that he still thinks that she can do all of this without support is crazy. So he's a doctor, which makes it even worse that he's been acting like her C-section recovery is no big deal. So yesterday, I went down to his hospital. I told the nurses and the receptionist everything he's been doing and not doing at home. I wasn't screaming or anything, just very loudly sharing stories in places where a lot of people could overhear. Like how Dr. X thinks his wife should scrub floors while she's still bleeding from abdominal surgery. I mean, it's petty, but I kind of love it. Let's just say his coworkers now know he's a lot better at prescribing rest than actually supporting it. After that, I called his mom. Not the mom. Oh.
I will call your mother.
For context, she and I are very close. We're basically the same person in different ages. I told her every single detail, what he did, what he hasn't done, what he said, and what he hasn't said. Glad to say she was not impressed. I mean, he realistically should have called her as well for help. And I didn't stop there. With my parents' help, I told the rest of the family, close relatives, extended family, cousins, everybody. Ooh. I love the chaos. I'm here for the chaos. I spent the whole day calling and updating people about my brother-in-law's behavior. If he wanted my sister to feel humiliated and unsupported, well, now he gets to feel it too. Yes, I know what I did was a total move, but sometimes too negative make a positive. It even says so in math. So here's the update I'm sure many of you were waiting for, and I hope I was petty enough for all of you. I would say my petty soul has been satisfied. I mean, he's not going to like it. Like, I'm just saying right now, like, I would be surprised if it didn't escalate even further because, like, yeah, you brought it to his work, rightfully so. You told everyone he knows, rightfully so. I would be surprised if this is the last we hear from you, OP. Everyone in the comments is saying what a great sister you are. I agree. People really need to go to bat for like pregnant women and people and women who are fresh postpartum. It's such a vulnerable position to be in. So good on you for being the mama bear that she needed. So are you the a-hole for acting like a maid at my sister's house after she gave birth? No. Am I the a-hole for telling a woman in my friend group that what she did wasn't petty revenge? It was just crazy? Ooh, how on brand. You may be seated. So, this story comes with a lot of context. I, 26 female, live in a small Midwestern town where even if you aren't close with everyone, you know everyone.
Everything here that the light touches is where we say, oh, wow.
My grade growing up was the largest with 98 kids. It was a pre-K to 12 school. So at some point or another, you were in a class with every other kid your age, especially by middle school where you were attending about 8 classes a day. And drama got around fast, especially relationship drama. The woman in question, let's call her Diana, also 26 female, had a lot of relationship drama. The ideal that was pushed on us a lot as girls was to lock down a guy by high school and then get married as soon as possible once you graduate. Diana was determined to find her high school sweetheart, and as a result said yes to literally every guy that asked her out. To be clear, I'm not judging her for it. The pressure was high on all the girls, even teachers talked to us about it. I was lucky enough that pretty much every woman in my family who had done just that was more interested in being brutally honest about how stupid of a choice it had been for them to jump into marriage so young, and with the first guy who would ask. But Diana didn't have that. She had more people selling how perfect of a life she would have if she just got a good guy young. Ooh, I don't love this. The guys who asked her out, however, weren't great. They were teenage boys and they acted like it. Her name came up a lot in the gossip mill, and it was usually about how she was dumped for some stupid reason. At this point, we weren't friends yet, but I knew her, and I had seen the aftermath of a few breakups she'd been in, starting in middle school. In hindsight, most of them weren't too bad, but for a young teen girl, it probably did feel like the end of the world every time she was broken up with. As far as I know, she was never the one who did the breaking up, only ever been broken up with. Senior year, she and I ended up in the same friend group. At the time, she was with her longest term boyfriend, and she was thrilled because he seemed to be on the same page she was about getting married fast and starting a family. We were happy for her, and it seemed like a good thing, until he cheated on her at a party and broke up with him after she caught him. She was devastated, understandably. She was once again the main topic of teenage gossip, and her latest ex and the girl he cheated with started dating and were very much trying to rub in how happy they were in Diana's face. I don't miss being a teenager. Not that boys liked me back then, but like, you get what I mean. Just petty, stupid teenage drama. Diana swore she was going to be single for a while and decided to work on her life outside of guys, which we all encouraged her to do. She stayed single for about a year until she met Jake, now 27 male. He wasn't from our town originally, but he'd moved there with his family for his dad's work. They hit it off and Jake was really into her. He was honestly a fantastic match for her. Being the kind of guy who just liked making his girlfriend happy, he was willing to do anything she asked. He was as touchy as she was, liked spending all of his free time with her, and since he didn't have friends in our town yet, she was his primary hangout choice.
The perfect pair.
They were together for a little under 2 years. Diana was 21 when they broke up. Jake was 22. The breakup was a mess, and it divided our friend group even then. Diana had become convinced that Jake was cheating on her, and there was no convincing her otherwise. Some of the reasons and logical explanations I can remember are: Jake always went clothes shopping with Diana and let her pick out his wardrobe. However, he came home with a new shirt one day.
Yeah, well, that's perfectly normal.
It was for work, and it was just a black polo. But Diana was convinced it was the start of him changing his wardrobe to appeal to another woman at his workplace. Don't they like give you those shirts a lot of the time, or like take it out of your paycheck or something? Isn't that like a standard like server's outfit? Okay. Jake started to form his own friend group. He brought Diana to their hangouts and get-togethers, but she didn't like the group because other girlfriends were also present. Jake asked her to stop openly talking to the other girls because his friends were getting mad at him, and she took that as him defending the girls because he liked them. Okay. Jake changed his phone password. It didn't matter that he gave her the new password as soon as he'd done it. The fact that he changed it at all felt sketchy to her. I have no idea why he changed it, but I don't think he'd give her the new password if he changed it to hide anything. Okay, so it's clear that she's bringing in her past issues with her past relationships into this new relationship. This is the thing about cheating. Like, you really screw people up for a long time when you do it. Not to say her behavior is warranted, but like, I kind of get it. She's still acting crazy. Don't get me wrong. Ironically, this kind of behavior, as much as you try to control the person, I think all it does is push them away. Self-fulfilling prophecy, as it were. Anyways, Jake ended up having to fully cut her off after they broke up. He kicked her out of his apartment that she'd partially moved into, had a third party give her back all her things, and just generally did his best to avoid her. Diana kept telling everyone who would listen that he was a lying cheat, and our friend group was split in half between the people, like myself, who didn't think that he'd cheated, and the people who were egging Diana on. Still, we all tried to be there for her at the time, and we thought she moved on because she had a new boyfriend and hasn't mentioned Jake in these last few years. Okay.
Where's this going?
Well, Jake recently got engaged. I guess his mom never blocked Diana since Diana never reached out to her, and when she posted it on Facebook, Diana saw, and it set her off. She badmouthed the girl, let's call her Julie, in the group chat immediately, sending pictures off her Instagram to make fun of her. Oh yeah, she still likes Jake. Not that making fun of her would have been okay anyways, but Julie is an upgrade from Diana in every way. She's absolutely stunning, currently going to school for being a nurse, and from what I could tell from my own snooping, she spends most of her free time volunteering. Okay, so Jake found like a really nice, good girl to marry. I bet you anything Diana is not only like jealous that, you know, Jake has this new girl, but I think also jealous that it wasn't her.
Well, it's her own fault.
That she didn't get married first. Because it seems like marriage is the one thing she wants, and I bet if she hadn't acted so nuts, that probably would have been her. I'm sure she's got skeletons somewhere, but she seems great, and all the pictures of her and Jake make them seem very happy. And that's probably what's driving Diana so nuts. Well, I was the first to tell her she needed to let it go. It's been years, she's way too hung up on this for a grown woman. A few of the other women in the group echoed the sentiment that it wasn't good for her mental health, and she was happy in her current relationship, so why did it matter what Jake was up to? Well, apparently, she made a new group chat with the girls who were encouraging her, and they all used Julie's profiles to snoop on her and Jake. And they kept encouraging her to get some revenge on Jake. Oh my, I don't like where this is going. Diana realized that Jake still lived in his same apartment and still had a lot of his clothes that Diana had picked out for him. So she got the bright idea to dig up old pictures of her and Jake and send them to Julia, claiming Jake had cheated on her, Julia, with Diana. Presenting it like the pictures were new. No. Oh, this is awful. Bombastic side eye.
Criminal offensive side eye. Do you understand?
She was bragging about it the last time we all met up and how even if it doesn't lead to a breakup, she's sure it caused issues for Jake and how she can finally move on from what he did to her after some petty revenge, but she has like literally no proof that any of that actually happened. I pointed out that what she did wasn't petty revenge, it was crazy, right? Because like petty revenge implies something actually happening to you to warrant revenge on someone else. You being delusional and cray-cray because of your past trauma and projecting that onto people who don't deserve it is not petty revenge.
It's insane.
We don't know that version of petty revenge, okay? We don't claim her. That's not what we're about, guys. She went out of her way to make another girl think she was being cheated on. That's what's messed up, because like, doesn't Diana know that that's like a really horrible thing to have to experience? On the flip side, wouldn't she not want to do that to somebody else? Diana defended herself, saying that if they really did have a strong relationship, it wouldn't do anything but cause Jake some stress. And if he hadn't changed, then she probably saved Julia. I still think what she did was crazy, and she thinks it's because I never believed her about Jake cheating to begin with, which is true. I never did believe her about Jake, and I still don't. And our friend group is split in half all over again. Who knows? Maybe she was right about him. I'm not sure, but I think, okay, let's say a girl starts dating someone that you were dating. That guy cheated on you. Is it any of your business to let that girl know that he was like awful to you? Not really, but I feel like that's different than outright lying about him cheating when he never cheated with that person to begin with. Diana hasn't spoken to me, but apparently she hasn't been doing very well. I've been getting messages from all of our other friends about how upset she is, and half the friend group is also mad at me for kicking her while she was already down and calling her crazy. Okay, but she needs to hear that though. Like, it's not about kicking when she's down. She's literally reveling in the fact, like enjoying the fact that she's ruining someone else's relationship. Like, I just genuinely feel like a real friend wouldn't be a yes man in that moment. I think a real friend would like check that behavior. You expect better from them, right?
You have to take accountability for your own actions.
The other half of the group is on my side and agree we're almost 30 and she shouldn't be hung up on a guy she dated that long ago and a breakup she caused with her paranoia. But one of our friends that's usually level-headed and agreed with the Jake didn't cheat situation is against me currently. She says Diana was clearly just going through a lot and that of course she was feeling badly about seeing her ex get engaged, and when she herself hasn't even been able to get her boyfriend to have a real conversation about it yet. I do know how touchy of a subject marriage is for her and how much her mom has been on her about not having a ring at our age, but I still think trying to make a girl think she's been cheated on is way too far. Yeah, again, like I've said in so many previous videos, your trauma is not your fault. Like, things that happen to you are not your fault. But what is your fault is how you use that trauma and justify bad behavior to people who are completely innocent, who do not deserve that sort of treatment. Go to therapy. Don't take it out on other people. So, am I the a-hole? Should I apologize for calling her crazy at the very least? I do think that what she did was very vindictive. It might be worth having a conversation with her, maybe taking back the word crazy and sort of just making her feel like, help her empathize with the situation. Maybe she doesn't understand the parallels of like, you had someone cheat on you. That's horrible. I can imagine that would have messed you up for a really, really long time.
Yeah, clearly.
But like, do you not see how you going and lying about Jake cheating on his current fiance is putting that trauma on somebody else that doesn't deserve it? Maybe at that point she will see herself that maybe she went too far. She didn't maybe go too far. She did go too far. Maybe she could reach out to the girl or Jake or whatever and apologize or something like that to at least mend that relationship. Edit, those of us who think she's acting crazy have made a group chat to talk and share information. Apparently Diana has been texting everyone but me. I'll post an update if anything actually happens, but I think for now I'm cutting off quite a few old friends. Honestly, I wish I could be more sad about it, but the girls I'm cutting off aren't the ones I was close to anyways. Honestly, vouching for that behavior is not someone that your values just don't really align, to be honest. And I think I will be much happier without Diana drama in my life. Not the a-hole, you nailed it. It wasn't petty, it was crazy. Poor Jake. Are you in contact with him? I'd be sending him screenshots from that group chat. Yeah. OP responds, I'm not blocked. I could send him screenshots, but I'm not sure if I want to reach out and involve myself further, or if he even wants to hear from any of Diana's old friends. Yeah, I think if he's not going to hear all of this from Diana, he should definitely hear it from somebody else, because like his marriage is at stake, right? I mean, a lot of people are just like, just cut her off, cut her off, cut her off. Maybe it would be worth having a conversation with her if you care about salvaging the friendship, but I do think that she, at the very least, needs to fix what she broke, or you have to fix it.
Can we fix it? Yes, we can!
So we do have an update.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
So, let me just sit up for this. As I said in my last edit, the remaining part of my friend group added me to a group chat last night to show me what Diana was texting them about me. For the most part, it was just that I was an unsupportive and bad friend, which made me roll my eyes. However, she did feel bold enough to use homophobic slurs in a few texts, which did hurt. Remember what I said about having a chat with her? Yeah, maybe I take that back. I know this situation doesn't paint her in the best light, but she's actually been a pretty good friend these past few years. Being openly bisexual in a small conservative town isn't easy, and Diana used to be one of the first people to jump to defend me from these exact kind of comments she was making behind my back. But that solidified to me I was done with her completely. I don't even know what she was saying with the women who agreed with her, but it doesn't matter because I'm done with them too, and so are the members of the group I'm still in touch with. Diana can have the people who enable her, and they can all pull each other down together. Now, once we figured out what Diana was saying and who she was saying it to, I was not the only one she was talking. She was also trying to talk down anyone who immediately disagreed with her bad-mouthing me. We all decided on next steps. First and foremost, we decided to reach out to Julie and let her know Diana was lying. We decided that only one of us should, so she wasn't bombarded with 6 strangers at once. The best news is, Julie apparently never took Diana seriously to begin with. Oh, goody. Jake had already warned her since this actually wasn't the first time Diana had reached out to a girl he was with, and that's why she was blocked on his socials to begin with. Oh. All Diana's message did was remind Julie to block her and give her a good laugh. Oh, thank goodness. Something Diana hadn't thought about was that it had been 5 years, so while Jake did dress the same and live in the same apartment, it's not like he still looked the exact same or had the same bed sheets. So on that end, things are good. Diana didn't even get a second thought from Julie, though she appreciated being reached out to anyways. Thank goodness. Julie is also incredibly petty. She took one of the pictures Diana sent her of her and Jake in his apartment and posted it side by side with one of her and Jake in the exact positions as before and after. I'm sure if Diana got to see it, it drove her insane. Oh, she for sure saw it. And I'm sure anyone in her circle who isn't blocked was quick to send it to her. She's actually in our Discord group currently and is joining our weekly Stardew night next week. We're starting a new farm. She seems great and she was honestly happy to be invited. Apparently she doesn't have a lot of friends in the area other than her college classmates and is looking forward to expanding her social circle. Julie also knows about the post. The entire new friend group does after I sent it to them. This post, you mean? One of the women who has demanded I call her Monica wanted me to correct something from my original post because it was even crazier than I remembered. It wasn't Jake that bought the new black polo. He bought 5, one for every day of his work week. That's what made Diana so sure that someone at his job had to have put him up to it. She was convinced there was some goth girl at his job who was trying to get him to wear more black. Until she found out his only female co-workers were old enough to be his grandma.
You look like you go down as smooth as microwaved butterscotch.
I guess even Diana realized the idea of some hot goth granny trying to seduce her boyfriend was ridiculous. That's why she moved on to thinking the other woman was one of his friend's girlfriends. So thank you, Monica, for the correction. Thank you, Monica. Your services are greatly appreciated. Now, some people worried about Diana retaliating against me, which honestly, until it was brought up, I never even thought about that. And she did try, kind of. Y'all. She tried to tattle on me to my mom.
Which one of you snitched on me to my mom?
How are you not embarrassed?
I'm coming for your left shoes.
A 26-year-old woman tried to tattle on me to my mom. I wouldn't have believed it if my mom hadn't called me herself to ask what the hell was going on. She woke up at 6 a.m. to get ready for work and instead was greeted with 4 paragraphs from Diana on Facebook about how I wasn't a girl's girl and how I gaslit her and called her the C word. Yes, that's how she described me calling her crazy. C word was crazy or the other C word? See you next Tuesday. Both are true. My mom got herself blocked after saying crazy or the actual C word.
Great minds think alike.
To know if I can post that one here because you're acting like both. I swear to God, I did not even read that next sentence. I love my mom. I had to give her the rundown later when she called, and she thinks Diana is growing up to be just like her mother. And for those of you who said we should warn Diana's current boyfriend, we honestly don't know how without literally going to find him in person. Diana absolutely wouldn't let him have any of our numbers, and as far as we know, he doesn't really have social media. It was one of the things that excited Diana most about him, since it meant he couldn't look at other girls on Insta. We all agreed that if we did run into him, we'd ask if he knew about the Jake situation to fill him in if he didn't. But for now, we're all done with Diana. I'm sure I'll probably see her again. Like I said, it's a small town, so unless I'm willing to just pack up and move, which even if I could afford to, I don't plan on leaving to just avoid Diana, I'd probably run into her again. But seeing her doesn't mean I have to speak to her, and right now she's blocked on everything. I don't know if this is the exciting update you all wanted. It is. It's not like Diana did something nuts or tried to ruin my life in the last 24 hours, but Julie and Jake are very much still happily engaged, and Diana did nothing but make herself look stupid and ruin longtime friendships to attempt to get back at her ex for something her mind had made up. So to me, that's a happy enough ending. Thank you to everyone who offered advice on my original post and for reading the update. Take this as your reminder that sometimes people never leave high school, and you should just let those friendships go before they add any stress to your life. So, are you the a-hole for telling a woman in my friend group that what she did wasn't petty revenge, it was just crazy? No. I broke it. Am I the a-hole for putting glue in my stepdaughter's hand sanitizer? I mean, that's a loaded title, but I'll hear you out. God, this mallet is it's really falling apart. I, female, 44, have been in my stepdaughter's life since she was 4. She's now 20. We'll call her Jane. Even though her dad and I are divorced, Jane and I have always had a close relationship, and she currently lives with me while she's in college. Back when she was in middle school, Jane had a group of friends who were basically bullies. They constantly took her things, water bottles, plush keychains, school supplies, hair scrunchies, anything they could grab to get a reaction. Jane would come home crying with frustration, so I encouraged her to use her voice first by being direct with them and saying, "Please stop, I don't think it's funny." When that didn't work, I advised her to involve a teacher. She did, repeatedly. Nothing changed. Eventually, I went to an assistant principal. I was told my child was too sensitive and that she needed thicker skin and that the behavior of the other children was normal. No. I was furious. Her belongings were being taken without permission and somehow she was the problem? Oh, brother, I'd march my butt down to that school and rip her a new butthole, you know what I mean? Fast forward a bit, Jane and I went shopping, and she used some gift cards she had received as gifts to buy lotion, body spray, hand sanitizer, and a cute holder for her backpack. She was so excited to show it off the next day. Okay, I understand where you're going with this, I do. However, when I picked her up after school, she was crying again. One of the same kids had taken her new sanitizers and passed it around the friend group all day. Before giving it back to her at the end of the day, one of the kids turned it upside down, squeezed it, and emptied its contents before handing it back to her. She was devastated. Ugh. I've had enough. I demanded she hand over the empty bottle. She hesitated because she wanted to know what I was going to do, but eventually she handed it over.
You naughty, naughty girl.
I drove straight to the store, bought a bottle of clear glue. Think the kind of glue that young children use in school that will wash or peel off of everything. Okay, I'm glad that it wasn't like super glue or something, because that... Anyways, I filled the empty hand sanitizer bottle with it and added a little glitter so it still looked authentic. You yassified your revenge. When I gave it back to her, I told her she was not to offer it to anyone, but if someone took it like they always did, that was on them. I warned her they would probably wipe it on her, get it on her clothes and in her hair, but not to worry, it would wash out. And most importantly, I told her to not let them see her cry. She was worried she'd get in trouble, but I told her the principal could call me. I'll happily sit through whatever consequences they wanted to hand out. The next day, at recess, one of the kids grabbed the sanitizer right off her backpack. Jane said, "Don't use that," which did not deter the kid. With smug defiance, the girl poured a handful of Japanese cherry blossom glue in her hands. It did not take her long to realize something wasn't right, and she was upset, wiped it on Jane, and was livid about what happened. Jane boldly told her that she was tired of them taking her stuff and not to do it again. Then she threw me under the bus and said it was my idea. The kid did not tell on her. Other than having to wash glue out of her hair and off her backpack, there were no other repercussions for Jane. Oh. I'm actually surprised she didn't go tell the teacher, because that would have been very ironic. The best part, those kids finally stopped taking her things. She ultimately learned to build healthier friendships, and it seems everyone is thriving today. So, am I the a-hole? I think, yes, they're kids, but this never would have happened if they weren't taking other people's stuff. It's kind of the same as, like, you know, those coworker stories that, like, you know, people keep stealing their food in the fridge. You put like milk in it because they're lactose intolerant or something, and then they get mad. But you shouldn't have been stealing my stuff.
Actions have consequences.
I don't think you're the a-hole, but let's see what everybody else had to say. Not the a-hole, you're an awesome mom for helping her with the bullies when no one else would. Kind of seems like the way to deal with them is just to fight fire with fire. Not the a-hole, saying it was your idea, was telling the bullies that there was someone much bigger that was willing to risk it all to take them down. I'm glad things worked out for your stepdaughter. Yes, I agree. And I gotta let you know, that title was like, I thought you were saying something completely different, but no, I feel like this is very justified. I personally see no problem with it. You're not the a-hole in my eyes. Gotta be careful with this mallet now. Look at that. Am I the a-hole for not waking up a tourist who overslept and missed the day trip she paid for? Hi guys!
Hello, Bruce.
I'm 21 female, a Bulgarian tour guide who accompanies groups to Sicily. Love Sicily. Went there on my honeymoon. Highly recommend. On a recent trip, one woman who was traveling alone, mid-30s, was consistently oversleeping. The first day after we arrived, we had a day trip to Etna and Taormina. Oh, love those. For which we depart at 8 a.m. as we do all other day tours. I made sure all tourists are informed of the departure times on the bus the day before, and they also have my number to call in case they forget so I can remind them. They also all have printed out pamphlets with the schedule made by the travel agency that I hand out that has the time for departure on it. All of the group was on time except for one woman. She was late by 10 minutes, which, okay, maybe she got caught up in something and was late. I excused it, then mentioned to the whole bus on the mic that I don't tolerate lateness past 15 minutes at most in case of emergency, like a forgotten possession, and that I must always be called and informed in case someone is running late. Trip went by okay otherwise. This is the other thing that's super important if you're someone who is late a lot. I think at the very, very least, calling, texting, letting someone know that you're going to be late helps. I still don't love it when people are late, but if you are late, let people know, especially if you have a group of people that's like waiting on you, your boss is waiting on you, whatever it may be. Just let them know you're coming, apologize, be late.
And then don't do it again.
The next day, this same tourist was late again by 25 minutes. Almost an entire half hour. I called her twice to no answer. No answer? And we were just about to leave without her when she came running and got on the bus. She got lucky as the receptionist of the hotel asked me about a missing piece of info on the rooming list and earned her some time. I reminded everyone again, I will not be waiting anymore for late tourists in the morning, and waking up on time is their responsibility. When we came back that evening, she asked if I could make sure to wake her up on time. I beg your finest pardon. Absolutely not. I reminded her a third time that I'm not responsible for waking people up. Everyone gets a printed itinerary with departure times, and I announce everything the day before. She kept saying,
No, just knock on my door if I'm not out by 8:15.
And I kept repeating, I really can't do that for everyone. Please set an alarm. At her big age, mid-30s, and she needs to be woken up by someone? Be so for real. No, what she's trying to do is make it your fault. Well, on the day, we were visiting Syracuse.
I'm walking here!
And she didn't show up. I waited 15 minutes after the supposed departure time, called her twice, no response, then left with the bus and the rest of the group. She called me in a panic about an hour later, asking where we were. Not an hour later.
1 hour later.
She explained the situation calmly. She got angry and said that I had one job and that I cheated her out of the money she paid to go on that day trip. Oh no. No. Does this woman live in Delulu land? Like, oh. This is not how the world works, okay? It is no one's responsibility to have you show up on time for that you book, for appointments you make, for a job that you have. It is no one's responsibility except yours. She missed the whole day trip and was furious the next day. Later, she told the rest of the group that I abandoned her and also called my agency, leaving a bad review about me. Good Lord. This woman was just a Karen. Am I the a-hole for not personally waking up a grown woman despite warning her multiple times I wouldn't? No, of course not. You're not. No, I would definitely talk to your manager so that they know exactly what happened. The last thing I would want is for you to get fired, but no, this person is delusional. This woman could have also requested a wake-up call from her hotel, and that's also a very, very good point. It is not up to your tour guide, but I know a lot of hotels, actually most hotels, should call with a wake-up call. If you ask like the night before, like I need a wake up call, they will absolutely do it. I don't think it was her waking up. I think that she just kind of wanted to like show up whenever she wanted, sort of thing. Granted, tours are really early. I personally don't like doing tours because of how early you have to get up to be on the tour. I prefer to just like leisurely kind of like walk around and experience the sights by myself when I'm traveling, or, you know, with Mike. Ugh.
No.
Hi.
Okay.
That's on her, you know? Okay, another good point. Tour guide called her twice and she didn't answer or wake up, so that likely wouldn't have worked. That is a very good point. When she says that she wanted to be called and woken up, how would that have worked if she did get called and woken up? I think that this specific tourist was wanting someone to knock on the door. I don't understand people who are like such deep sleepers that like they don't wake up when they hear stuff. I'm such a light sleeper, it's actually awful. It's actually so terrible. Murphy, our dog, has gotten into the habit of like howling in his sleep, and I wear very thick earplugs, okay? I wake up to this like, oh, like every damn night. I can hear it when Mike gets up to go to the bathroom. I can hear it when he like just fiddles with his phone. Like I can feel the energy. I don't understand people that can sleep through a phone call. I'm an avid traveler. I'd be angry to sit on a bus every morning waiting on someone who's chronically late. Time is money and she'd be wasting mine. If she's worried about hers, she needs to set an alarm. If she complained to other guests, I guarantee you they weren't feeling bad for her. This is the other thing too. Like when there's other people waiting for you, it's just like repeatedly you're still late and you've been told to stop being late. Like that's fully on you, and you genuinely don't care about other people. You want special treatment. OP updated and said, I talked to my manager today. I was nervous at first because I was already tired of this whole shenanigan and didn't want to spend ages defending myself. So I went to him first and explained the situation before he approached me. He told me word for word, hun, I deleted that BS from my email as soon as I read it. An icon. They will remove the bad review. Okay, I'm so happy to hear. I'm happy to hear it didn't come back and bite you in the butt. So am I the a-hole for waking up a tourist who overslept and missed the day trip she paid for? Well, you already know how I feel. No. Subscribe!